Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. For this episode, we're going to look at this metal build. Hi, new Gundam. Pretty sweet, huh? Yeah, I've just recently gotten into some metal builds. I've done a F91 and Crossbone review, so I have those up. But yeah, really curious to see about the High New, because that's like pivotal. Like, this is Amuro level stuff. Hey, but before we get started, if you haven't, please subscribe. And if you think this is a cool video, give it a like. Also, check the links in the description for ways you could support the channel or even join our Discord. We have a lot of fun there, but let's get started. Well, all right, here we go, the High New. Yeah, this thing is absolutely gigantic. I guess the metal builds are a little bigger, but also I'll have to compare it with the F91 and the Crossbone since canonically they're a little smaller than the High New. Although when it comes to canon, these designs aren't necessarily directly copied from the source material. There's a little bit of artistic freedom in the designs of these suits, but they still look really cool. Anyway, I'm going to take the backpack off just so we can get a better look at everything. All right, I feel like during this video my hair is going to be its own character, so pardon that. But so check this out. There's these little things I'll get to more later, but just kind of look at the design here. I love it. It's just full on the grounded UC look on top of just making things cool and edgy, especially being an Amuro Ray mobile suit. So this is like prime Gundam right here. But yeah, just take a look at this. Just considering this is not even a model kit, but it is an action figure, but just the details on it. Where there's gold areas, a little green, like sensor type stuff going on. Even the detail, it has a nice little matte touch to it. And you can tell where the metal parts are. Like you can see the elbow there, going down here. Oh, there's so many little things I wanted to save for later that's with this. But yeah, even looking at the metal back here, there's another cool area like in the leg here. When you open this and close that, that's pretty cool, like pistons. I built the Master Grade Hazel recently, and it kind of has that effect. I love that kind of thing. I mean, just looking at this, I love the proportions. I have the Robot Spirits version. All right, I decided to remove that green screen effect and just use a box. Hopefully that's fine. Feedback on that, though. Presenter in the video or not? Anyway, I had the Robot Spirits version of this because I liked the concept of the High New Gundam. Amuro's kind of last Gundam. But to be honest, it never stood out to me. Something to do with the colors. See, there's differences between the manga version, concept art, of like how the High New Gundam would look. Sometimes it's more of a blue than a purple. This is more of the purple. Also, it's got some of the interesting things going on with like the purple on the shield here, or even on the fins. Oh my god. Even on the fins, how it has this gradient to it. And, there's different ways to interpret it. I don't think there's been a solid design of the new Gundam yet. A lot of times it really determines on the anime. But I will say that I do love the proportions of this more than the other ones. I feel like for some reason with the other ones, and actually I haven't built the real grade, but the other ones have just the smaller head, huge shoulders, legs, and backpack. It almost looks miniature with everything else, but this just has some nice proportions to it. I really like the look of this. All right, so to get some of the articulation out of the way, there's not much head articulation. Sometimes I try to see if there's a way I can move it to get it somewhere else. I can't get that up look I want, even though there is a gap in the neck to allow it to go up a little more. Or is there? That's just allow it to go forward, I guess. But it still doesn't drop too much. A little forward, a little back and up, but just not enough. The arms, full rotation. It's got the bicep swivel. It's got it looked like there would be 2 points of articulation here at the elbow. I haven't really got it. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, it looks like it exists, or I'm going to break it, but I've got it to go up there. It looks like there is articulation, or just a smidge there, or maybe there's not supposed to be, and I'm about to break it, but it's mainly here at the lower part of the elbow. I mean, but you can see with that's some good articulation, getting the forearm up that high. And because it's a metal joint, super stiff. Okay, you've got, the shoulder stuff that's going on there. Nothing too different there. What I do like is with the abdomen. So you can see, and you'll see some metal parts as I do this, it has multiple layers for him to move forward, which I guess if you're trying to do some cool space pose where he's like flying and then shooting the rocket, which I tried, maybe that'll work, but I would prefer it to go back. So let's see how far back it goes. And that's it. I mean, you can manipulate the legs at the bottom here to make it look like he's, but no, I feel like we don't get as much flight poses out of mobile suits as we could. All right, and then so for the, I always find the skirts to be either a pain or a pain. Let's see, a little bit of moving here. Looks like more here than here. Does have to do with the way it's set up. You could see metal, I don't know if you can see, metal joint in there. Maybe this helps if I open this up so we can see all the metal goodness. That's kind of the structural integrity of this whole thing. Yeah, it looks like, you know, they're kind of limited here, but it's not too bad. The back flap goes up quite a bit, so. Oh, I had that caught under there. Something to watch out for. So yeah, and on the front too, I love how you can kind of see the inner metal part. Again, really cool. Going down to the legs, so they have, let's see. Sometimes they have that weird system where you can like move it into two places, and it looks like they're doing that in a way, or maybe they're just not. I'm kind of confused with it, because I mean, look at how much space is back here. Like maybe it's a new way to do the articulation where you don't have to have it move. You know, there used to be more, another little like horizontal plane that a peg would move across to carry the leg. This doesn't have that. I don't know if that's good or bad, because we can get front up really good. That's a good front. Back? Nope, it stops. So the back doesn't go back that far. Do you really need it to? That back skirt's gonna stop you from being able to do much with the knee unless you put it down all the way, but then you would have to really work around that. So, I mean, that could be nitpicking to a degree. Okay, I want to point out something real quick. I'm just discovering. So there's a piece that you can take off on the front here. And then I noticed when the knee went up, there was this other, let's see if I can get it to do it. There's this other piece in here. There we go. And I'm like, okay, that looks like something is broken, but I can't see. It doesn't look like anything is broken unless that's just something. Because yeah, it looks like something would have broke off here. I'll have to look around. Looking closely, doesn't look like something broke. That's very interesting. I guess that's supposed to just help keep this down. Because that's how it would be. And then this piece would go in here. All right, so got that back in. I'll show off later what this is supposed to do. It has some gimmick to it. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting with the leg. I'll have to do some research and see if something broke off. Or it's just a weird part of the kibble that I exposed. But yeah, moving on with the feet. You know what? The feet don't seem to have too much articulation. It has this gimmick for moving the feet apart, and it's got the toe. But one thing I noticed from before is the ankle pivot here. It's not too much of it, and it's kind of helpful to have that with the model kits. So I would say overall their articulation is fine. You can even see here it has its own, you know, wrist thing, but it's got something else that moves there. Shoulders forward, up. So yeah, it's got all the typical articulation you expect out of like a Robot Spirits or even a Gunpla, but a little limited around the head, which sometimes happens. I think the back for the torso might be a little limited, and the way the skirts are kind of makes the back, but the legs restricted. Not really a big deal. I mean, that would not hold me back from getting this. Okay, manual, always good to have. I mean, this is not even a Gunpla, but there's still a lot to do. Making sure you have all the pieces, and then all the various things. Okay, showing this like head up and down movement. Let's look at that. Okay, I'm not getting any head up and down movement unless it was just kind of showing that's the space that you have in Warning Delicate, which makes sense. Yeah, showing how far it goes forward, showing that moves down the front skirt. See the arms, how they move. Legs, seeing some of that extra articulation. Might not know, oh, the little hidden gun in the forearm. beam rifle, hidden beam saber in the other forearm. The weapons, it has its own little sling to carry a beam saber. That's kind of interesting. Rocket launcher, storage. Yeah, where to put the shield and the effect parts. I like that there's those effect parts. Okay, and then this gimmick part, which is pretty neat. So here's all the little places that you can actually modify, move, extend the armor of the Hi-Nu, and I'll get to that shortly. And then, yeah, looking at the backpack pieces where you got some thrust stuff going on, the stand it comes with, which is excellent. Some more stuff, yeah, with the backpack thruster where you can put the rocket launcher for storage. And then putting these on, which this is going to be a whole nother story I'm going to get into here shortly. Backpack stuff. Yeah, pause if you need to look at it more, but yeah, there you go. All right, let's put on the backpack. And there we go. Snaps in nicely. Looks good. Added weight to the back. Does that make it fall? Almost. You can lean forward a little bit, mess around, I guess, with it to some degree. But yeah, get a really sick looking rendition of the Hi-Nu Gundam. I mean, it looks great. You know, as for some accessories, I was showing this earlier. It's the shield. It's nicely detailed. And then it's got this little thing here you can pull out so you can go pew pew. So that's there. But yeah, you can see like the little gold parts to it with the red on it. I mean, this just looks nice. It's like how I'd like to make a model kit look. All right, the rocket launcher. It's like a little compact mini rocket launcher. It moves out like that. Handle comes down. That's for the back to attach it. But yeah, this is pretty cool. So you just kind of do that. Back to that. Here is the beam rifle, and it comes with these two pieces, so I can replace where the strap is just with some blank parts. Pretty neat. Didn't really think I needed that, but cool. And then these boosters here that actually help with these on the back. All it really does is extend them. So let me plug that in there. There you go. And so just larger boosters looks cool, especially in a flight pose. So yeah, I like that. All right, like normally, all the different hands. We got a cool dynamic pose here. We've got a interesting beam saber one. I like it when they have that, where the wrist is kind of at an angle, so when you plug it in, kind of gives better beam posing. And just like a standard straight up, either closed fist or beam saber holding hand, and then trigger finger for either the gun or the bazooka. So the stuff you need, that's all you need. All right, and then as I was talking about in the forearm here, you can open that up and then pop, beam saber. And I've got the blade on it, which looks great. It's got this translucent purple, yeah, a little bit of silver on that. Sometimes we see some robot spirits do that, but that looks really good. Also, along with that beam saber blade is another one that's a little bigger, and another one's a little smaller. This goes to his other beam saber. That, yeah, is his other beam saber. All right, and stand. Yeah, this is his stand. After watching JoJo, I feel like when I talk about something being a stand, different meaning. But yeah, the stand looks great. I love it when they add these things. It's a good one that does a lot of good. What's cool though is it comes with this specific piece that plugs into this, but this itself, you can look at the mess that's back here. There's a little port. Which one is this one? Yeah, right above. Okay, right there below the backpack. That plugs in there. And then this goes on top, and it's a real sturdy fit. I've had him in some crazy poses without him falling, so I appreciate that. Okay, and other things that came with it, and I'm going to go into it a little more, is this attachment for the back. That's going to be for some of the fin funnels, which I'm going to show off here shortly. Let's see. We've got a clear effect part that's holding up the fin funnels. And then we've got another not effect piece, but a holder thingy piece. Man, there's names to all these, I'm sure. That plugs into the base here. That way it can help hold up some of the arms along with this claw here, which is the stuff we've seen a lot in like Bandai's stands. Okay, I wanted to show off some of the cool little things this guy does. So at the shoulders, you can lift, and it's one of those things where it's hard to do on camera. but it can be done. Okay, there we go. I don't know how noticeable it is. I'll compare right to left, but it opens up and you can see like the gold inside. That's pretty cool. It reminds me of what like the Verka new Gundam had, where it had like the green on the inside and you can kind of like open it up. Yeah, kind of like the unicorn type thing going on. You know, I don't know the background of that though. Is it a psycho frame or is it just made for this iteration? But then also on the chest, this opens up, so it has some more of that gold underneath, which is pretty cool. Same with the arms here. You can just open that up. It's not too much to it, but it's cool that that's there. Same with this side. Oops. Opened, I guess while I'm here, there's a little gun in there. And actually, while I'm here, let me test something else out before I forget. So this gun he has a point in there. Can I? No, that is a travesty. I cannot believe it. It's just a very shallow connector point, not even made as a connector point. It's just to look like the barrel of a gun. Can't fit that in. Wow. Okay, moving down, the front skirts also move down. So that's pretty cool. That opens up. Now this around the legs is pretty interesting because sometimes it's hard to get. So I'll have them both closed real quick. So with this, you can, sometimes, yeah, it's hard to get, and I don't know how I do it, but one part is you can pull this down, so that exposes stuff there, and then maybe that makes it easier for me to pull out. Yeah, there we go. And then that pulls out, so it kind of extends past the calf. That, another one pulls down, pulls out, and then this part moves forward. So what are we seeing? We're seeing some exposure here, here, here. It's like not a whole lot, but it's just kind of a cool, neat little finish to it, which is interesting. And again, there was that weird spot where it looked like something was broken back there, but see, there we go. I guess when I move it back too far, that pops out. And not that something broke, but maybe something popped out that I need to put back in. I mean, that's not too bad, but if I can fix it, I'm going to try. And then also there's that other part they mentioned where you can, yeah, it's not by a lot. And it looks like it's on both sides. So this moves out, but it's just a smooth out by a little bit. This part comes back and clicks. So the feet are a little wider. All right, wow, playing with something like this, leaned over a camera, is sure doing some work on my back. So I'm getting a workout out of this. All right, next up, let's do this together, shall we? Because I haven't done it yet. I was going to save it for this video. We're going to put on the fin funnels. So kind of looking at the instructions here, I think the main thing is having that connector piece plugged in on the back where everything else will go. Yeah, let's do it. You know, as I'm taking these off, I just wanted to like bring up, because I might not do it for the rest of the video, is how hard it is to get these on. One, I don't think I can do it on camera because I have to hold it up like close to myself. But there's these three little things here, and they all move on their own. Like for articulation, what's weird is even though this opens for the beam saber, you can pull this forward, and then this moves like this. And there's a thruster under there, so it's almost like another way to get some thruster activity, but you have to have this moved down. But the reason I talk about moving this is because to get these things on, which again is a pain, you have to like have them at an angle, and then didn't get it. So I'm showing you guys how hard this is. Didn't get it. Have to put it back in place, and then, oh my God. Okay, so I'm not even gonna try. I'll be here for a while, and it's easier to do it off camera. But basically, the hardest thing about this whole kit is putting those fins on. Even taking them off is a little weird because I'm trying to be careful to not break anything. All right, so there we go. Plug that in. Let's see. All right, there it is plugged in. It was plugged into the same spot I would use as the stand. It doesn't seem to hinder too much activity. It didn't really go back that much anyway, so it doesn't really hinder it that much, so that's good. You know, real quick, just a look at the new Gundam. I guess if it used the thrusters without putting the fin funnels on, I mean, it still looks really cool. So I got to say, still a cool looking unit. You know, even dropping this back down looks a little cooler too. Yeah, anyway, Okay, at least this part seems pretty easy, because there's like 4 slots on here to connect these together. Yeah, and then once connected, there you go, and it's got its ball joint here. Easy enough. All right, let's see how these plug in. Oh, and you know what? It looks like it has angles to it, so it's not an actual circle. So it's almost like you want to set it a certain way and keep it that way. So I would think these would be probably more up. Then I can just turn that. Huh. Seems scary, but it's working. All right, gonna have to use a stand for this. Okay, so the back, these pieces on the back are actually articulated also. So look at that. So they all have their own articulation. Interesting. Okay, so you can kind of figure out how you actually want it set up, which that's actually pretty cool, because you can really get this going crazy. Okay, trying to fit this guy in frame. So it looks like, you know, like even if you're looking at the top left here, I could probably adjust these in certain ways in order to have them somewhere else. It's weird that they move around like this, but they still feel very safe and sturdy. In fact, I wonder if that's just a degree of weight distribution, just so there's not too much weight on one end or the other to potentially break it over time. You know, so luckily they have, you know, these little things here, which, I mean, I would have to, let's see, move that back. Maybe adjust this. I don't know how you would grab it exactly. The manual is kind of showing it in this configuration where, yeah, it's just wide around them. The ones on the bottom seem to be pointing down anyway, so that's how they're getting that going. So yeah, just be maybe a degree of messing around with that to get it to do all that. So anyway, that just about does it. That was the Metal Build High New Gundam, which pretty awesome, bigger than the Robot Spirits, tons of articulation, but not a model kit. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's totally worth the price. You know, these prices are a little higher for these things, but it's got just so much detail to it, quality. Other than that weird knee thing, which could be just something I got to pop back in place, these things seem to be of high quality to where you don't really feel like they're going to break on you, especially all the added weight that it has with the backpack. The stand works perfect with it, with all the fin funnels. There's probably ways I can still figure out cool configurations, but it's really neat how they have all the included pieces for that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you have a metal build of any of these Gundams or anything else? If so, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any other questions, maybe something I didn't answer about it, let me know. But anyway, thanks for watching. Talk later.